Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on this new episode of Startup Talks. I'm fortunate enough to be joined today by somebody who's been associated with the marketing and advertising space in Pakistan and doing a wonderful job. Mr. Shayan Mahmud. He is the managing partner at Icon 7, Chief Brand Officer at ProPakistani, which we all read. It's a very popular news media digital outlet. A lot of popularity in the young generation of Pakistan, and also the very famous Trademor, which he's a chief executive of. And he's also been through Forbes 30 under 30. Assalamu alaikum, Shayan. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, sound great. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Shayan, that's great. So, Shayan, yeah, when are you turning 40? When are you getting into 40 under 40 then?
I'm 31 अभी तो उम्मीद है वो इंशाल्लाह in the next 8-9 years try करेंगे. We'll do our best.
Shayan, that's great. So, what was the journey like? How did you end up there?
End up in the 30 under 30. Yeah, end up.
Yeah,
अच्छा.
ended up in 30 under 30. Obviously, there's a lot going on behind that. मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो achieve
हाँ,
किया
वो
है ना
मतलब
आपने?
obviously like the career part aside, there was a friend of mine told me about it. I
हम्म,
applied. असल में उसमें इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये भी होती है कि वो आपको बताते नहीं है
हाँ,
अगर आप सेलेक्ट हुए या नहीं हुए या so they just publish the list. तो
हम्म,
मुझे तो एक्चुअली for the first 6-7 hours पता भी नहीं था. मुझे एक congratulations की ईमेल आई and I was very confused कि कोई random बंदे ने मुझे ईमेल भेजी हुई थी. And then I went and I checked and I realized कि alhamdulillah like I was very lucky to get it. लेकिन
हम्म,
it was very tight. I turned 30
हम्म,
the last day of the thing, so it was like very. It wasn't like I was young when I compared to the other listeners.
हाँ.
But yeah, it was a great honor and alhamdulillah, great achievement, I guess.
Chale, that's great. And what got you? I know you studied in England, right? Came
Mm.
back to Pakistan, been in Romania as well. Been associated with the marketing space for quite a bit of time now, right? Since a very young age. Uh, so, what got you interested into this space, first of all? And what's your experience so far with regards to the Pakistan context?
अच्छा. So वो ऐसे था कि I got into it because I was doing an internship in Romania in Bucharest.
Mhm.
वो university के लिए. I wanted to get into film at the time. I was working on a Pakistani film, and I was doing an internship at a place called Castel Studios, which was a studio for Hollywood sort of ये B-list kind of movie, like Nicolas Cage, all of that. तो उधर मैं काम कर रहा था and I met who are now my partners in Icon 7, Gabby and Irina.
Mhm.
Or you know, we were just friends. They ran an agency.
Hmm.
मतलब basically इत्तेफाकन मुलाकात हुई थी. There was no sort of motive or anything.
Hmm.
And then when we needed advertising for the film, Gabby and I, so I was looking at some of the production part of things. So I was tasked to get an advertising agency on board. तो मैंने पाकिस्तान की 2-3 एजेंसी से बात की, कुछ मुझे खास पता नहीं था, ना समझ आ रही थी. So I asked Gabby to sit in on the meetings, and he,
Hmm.
after the meetings, told me, "Yeah, you know, there's a big, space in the branding and advertising market of Pakistan, and you know, we should do something."
Mhm.
और इस तरह कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. I went back to university, graduate हुआ, और प्लान यही था कि I'll get a job there and stay in England.
Mhm.
लेकिन वो वही बोल रहा था, कीड़ा sort of एक दफा उसने डाल दिया, and I started thinking about it. Then I started asking him कि यार कैसे करेंगे, क्या करेंगे.
Mhm.
We went back and forth for a while, and then I just kind of moved to Pakistan. यही हमने 4-5 interns रखे, 2-3 full time employees रखे,
Hmm.
और मेरे घर में शुरू किया. और alhamdulillah, the first जो 4 or 5 people we hired, or the interns, they're
Mhm.
all around. Um, till Tala runs Trademor, the creative director, Danish, who directs production. Basically, all our senior management are those 5 interns and a couple of the senior people. So I was very lucky. We got a really good team,
Hmm.
and we got a good start. Um, जहाँ तक एडवर्टाइजिंग स्पेस इन पाकिस्तान की बात है,
Hmm.
I think it's look, for example, this part of Pakistan, Islamabad, and this belt is still growing. Obviously, Karachi is a lot more mature. I do think it is space in change because of digital and that sort of revolution coming. But I also think कि advertising is directly linked to the amount of brands in the country, right? So जितनी competition, जितना brand की value ही उस time होती है ना जब आपके पास options होते हैं, then you can pick between option 1, 2, and 3, and then advertising becomes more and more important. So with the new tech sort of revolution happening, with things sort of coming into flux, hopefully lots and more development on that side, तो होगा यही कि eventually as brands increase, the need for advertising will increase. As the need for advertising increases, आपकी जो creatives हैं वो बेहतर होंगे. They will you will attract more as in creatives from abroad, or you will train your creatives, or basically the ecosystem in any country specific to advertising is it comes second to that sort of jump of brands. So वो भी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हो रहा है. And I'm confident कि इंशाल्लाह in the next 10 years बहुत ज़्यादा होगा.
Inshallah Taala. Uh, just give me couple of seconds. अजान हो रही है, वो रिकॉर्डिंग में आएगी. Just wanna let it finish. चलें. Inshallah Taala, I hope that happens and it works out. You are doing a great job, right? Icon 7 has, I see clips of some amazing work on for some brands that you guys have done. So you've been a startup founder, I mean, yourself with the ProPakistani too, with the Trademor as well. So we'll just touch on each of them separately. Uh, how was how difficult is it in your opinion to first of all start a startup, right? To get into the entrepreneurship bandwagon, as they say. So how difficult was it? What challenges you faced when you started off with the Trademore first of all? Because Trademore is काफ़ी सारे aspects को cover करता है. You're
Definitely.
dealing with Alibaba as well. Now Amazon in Pakistan is getting very popular. A lot of people are providing trainings and all that. So how difficult was it, and what impact do you think you guys can make through Trademore in the B2C and B2B space of Pakistan?
ठीक है. So starting with the part of how difficult it is to be
Hmm.
a startup founder, देखिए, it is very difficult. इसमें तो कोई शक नहीं. It's not very rewarding in the beginning. It's not very rewarding in the middle. Sometimes it's not rewarding. और end का मैं आपको बता नहीं सकता, लेकिन अभी तक there's a lot of ups and downs. लेकिन
एंड अच्छा
I
ही
think
होगा इंशाल्लाह ताला.
इंशाल्लाह. और देखें, there are several factors as to why my journey in some ways was a little more easy. देखें, my father was an entrepreneur. A lot of my family members started their own businesses at different times. So होता ऐसे है कि वो आपके जो आसपास लोग होते हैं, that also play the biggest part. Not just the team that you're working with, वो तो obviously होता है, लेकिन the role of your family, the role of I don't know, your significant other, the role of your friends, that ecosystem of support जो होता है, not related to your business. अगर वो accepting हो ऐसी चीजों के लिए, तो that is a big plus. And in my case, risk appetite, ये सारी चीजें, because होता ये है कि you're going to, वो stress levels बहुत high होती हैं, वो चीजें बहुत out of control हो रही होती हैं. So you want people who are in your corner, people who are, and that's not easy. Don't get me wrong, देखें, because I mentioned ना कि my father or my family had been involved in businesses from before, तो वो एक understanding होती है, एक risk appetite बनी हुई होती है. You can be a very successful corporate employee, but उस उसके लिए, for example, if he has a son, then it's a little harder for him because he
Yeah.
doesn't appetite को देखना and accepting कि हाँ ठीक है यार, अभी नहीं पता कि ये चीज किधर जाएगी, बिकॉज आपके आसपास भी ना द वॉइसेस अराउंड यू आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो कहते हैं ना, यू आर द कंपनी यू कीप. तो अगर आपके दोस्त या आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स या आपकी जो जो सर्कल है, they are supportive and they are sort of cheering you on, so then it becomes a little easier, I think. um, जहाँ तक ट्रेडमोर स्पेसिफिक की बात है, दैट जर्नी वाज वेरी डिफरेंट. मैंने आपको बताया कि आईकॉन 7 की जर्नी, जो पहले एम्प्लॉइज थे वो काफी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, मतलब वर्क आउट रियली वेल, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, दे आर ऑल इन सीनियर पोजीशंस. ट्रेडमोर के टाइम पे ये नहीं हुआ, सो वी स्ट्रगल्ड क्वाइट अ बिट इन द बिगिनिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. हमारी मेन जो एक मेट्रिक होती है इज टू सॉर्ट ऑफ ब्रिंग मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ऑन टू अलीबाबा. ठीक है, तो वो जो मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को अलीबाबा पे लाना था, पहले 6 महीने में तो वी डिडंट ब्रिंग अ मैन्युफैक्चरर ऑन टू अलीबाबा. हमने एक सीनियर टीम रखी लाहौर में, डिडंट वर्क. फिर हमने एक और टीम ट्राई की लाहौर में, फिर हमने एक टीम ट्राई की इस्लामाबाद में, हमने एक और टीम ट्राई की इस्लामाबाद में. सो देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस. देन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह देयर वाज सम team members from Icon 7 that moved to Trademor in the beginning. Tala, who is now the chief operating officer of Trademor and my partner in the business, was one of the first people we hired at Icon 7. So wo gaya tha udhar, and that was a very, very big change. And then obviously Musa was another one, and then we started building a team from there. And alhamdulillah, the team that we have now is, the एक तो obviously they're very united and they work very well together and all of that, but they're exceptionally talented. Some moves we made really helped us as well. For example, going to Sialkot, going to a few other sort of up and coming markets. उससे हमें काफी फायदे हुए. उसके अलावा ये है कि I think right now we're at a point where we're expanding quite quickly, and alhamdulillah, very proud of the team. They're putting in 20 hours a day. लेकिन ये भी है कि when you go into this phase of rapid expansion and you're in multiple cities across Pakistan, etc., it's a great thing, alhamdulillah, but it comes with a lot of challenges. So I always look at it कि जितना आप एक सीलिंग तोड़ते हैं तो वो उसके ऊपर एक completely different set of challenges होते हैं, and ये like a video game, level 1 से ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है level 2 से ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है level 3, and this is why it takes a lot to sort of build something special and something big. It's not easy.
So, what sort of impact does it have on local businesses in terms of revenue, in terms of scaling into international markets? How does it benefit local businesses then?
Okay. So it benefits several types of local businesses. So we do Alibaba, we do Amazon, we also work with Etsy, PayMe, different brands. अब होता क्या है कि a lot of manufacturers are benefiting first and foremost. ये चीज जो बहुत sort of हमें of course पता नहीं थी to this extent, at least a few years ago, is कि पाकिस्तान की manufacturing capability is actually very good from an international standpoint. Surgical equipment, for example, obviously leather goods, textile, but even little things. जिस तरह वजीराबाद में cutlery, we make some fantastic cutlery that you can export. Obviously pink salt का आपने सुना होगा, that's very like famous right now. But इस तरह की बहुत सारी different चीजें हैं, and उसकी बहुत ज़्यादा वजह है. मतलब for example वजीराबाद में अगर वो cutlery is famous is because वहाँ पे पहले armory होती थी of the Mughal Empire, so they're used to working with steel. So there's a lot of history behind these things. But Sialkot, for example, Faisalabad, Lahore, these markets have fantastic manufacturers. और इनके साथ पहले क्या हो रहा था कि they were trying to get, they would take a flight to say Paris, try to get a direct deal. Alibaba opens up a window of, millions of suppliers where you can, millions of buyers rather than where you can sort of supply your products, etc. And of course, Alibaba, Amazon, all of them. But the other advantage is to the trader. अब वो ट्रेडर क्या है कि अगर आप हमारे कभी सियालकोट का ऑफिस जाएंगे तो 20-22 साल का लड़का अंदर आएगा, 2-3 लाख रुपए की मेंबरशिप लेगा, वहां पे जाएगा, स्टडी करेगा मार्केट, और फिर जाएगा अपनी बाइक पे अक्रॉस सियालकोट and will find, like, let's say there's a requirement for 1,000 motorbike gloves. We'll go find those 1,000 motorbike gloves and negotiate a deal, supply it, do the entire. So traders are people without manufacturing capability जो इससे बहुत ज़्यादा फायदा उठा रहे हैं. They're building very significant businesses out there. और तीसरा फायदा जिसको है is we are very skilled at certain things. For example, in the Amazon space, FBA training, technology, जो सारी चीजें होती हैं, we are helping people sort of do drop shipping across the UK, the US, Germany, different markets, and outsourcing that work to Pakistan. So ये भी एक बहुत significant source of income बनती जा रही है for a lot of young people looking to work in a freelance space. It's sort of the new thing after like design or those kind of things. It's a good skill set to have. We seem to be very good at it. We seem to get very high ratings and rankings. So all three of these things are working out very well for the ecosystem.
चले, uh, drop shipping is a fairly new concept in Pakistan, right? You mentioned Amazon FBA. In
जैसे
FBA
मैं
actually, sorry.
मैं कह रहा था मैं क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, वो ड्रॉप शिपिंग जो है वो इंटरनेशनली कर रहे हैं
जी
मेनली,
जी
सो दे आर
बिल्कुल
डूइंग इट फॉर द
बिल्कुल
यूएस
बिल्कुल।
यूके।
मैं भी कर चुका हूँ, लेकिन उस वक्त मैं पाकिस्तान में नहीं था, मैं इंग्लैंड में रह करके कर चुका हूँ। तो पाकिस्तान के लिए फेयरली न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट है, राइट? और स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग व्हेन द पेंडेमिक स्टार्टेड, दिस Amazon FBA was kind of like a buzzword. हर कोई, क्योंकि बहुत एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो है वो बहुत तेज़ी से बढ़ रही थी, लोगों के पास काम नहीं था। सनी अली भी बहुत ज़्यादा नज़र आते थे कि भाई ये FBA है, और वो दूसरे हैं, मुझे उनका नाम जहन में नहीं आ रहा इस वक्त। तो ड्रॉप शिपिंग पहले तो इशू होता था कि पाकिस्तान से डायरेक्टली एक्सपोर्ट जो है वो शायद अमेज़ॉन में नहीं कर सकते थे, लोग चाइना से लेते थे और फिर वहाँ से उधर भिजवाते थे चीज़ें। अब being a facilitator in the dropshipping space, right, for all these traders and manufacturers and all of them, अब पेंडेमिक भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह काफ़ी हद तक जो है वो डाई डाउन हो गया है, लाइफ इज़ गेटिंग टू नॉर्मल। तो as a space, what do you see, giving a bird's eye view of the whole scenario, because you're involved with so many things, so many people and organizations as a facilitator? In your opinion, what do you think is the scope for drop shipping in Pakistan, right?
तो मैं
जी जी बोले।
मैं अगर इसका आपको एग्जांपल दूं, तो जो इकोसिस्टम होता है ना, उसमें इसका होता है कि द बेस्ट वे टू लुक एट इट इज हाउ मेनी सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और एंटिटीज हैव यू सीन फॉर एग्जांपल कम आउट ऑफ इट। अब वो तो मैं आपको नहीं बताता कि फॉर एग्जांपल ट्रेडर्स कितने पैसे बना रहे हैं, मैन्युफैक्चरर्स कितने पैसे बना रहे हैं, हाउ मच मनी। तो जस्ट लुक एट इट दिस वे, आपने अभी सनी अली साहब का नाम लिया, मेहमद, extreme commerce doing really well, enablers doing really well.
Yeah.
फिर in our Alibaba space, there's us, there's NextBridge, there's several other entities forming up. So these companies like mine, for example, like ours, wouldn't exist if there wasn't an explosion in this industry, and they wouldn't continue to expand if there wasn't something very significantly brewing. अब जहाँ तक how will these things get better? देखेंगे, there's several things, payment gateway, पाकिस्तान में पैसा लाना, पाकिस्तान में पैसा बाहर करना, ये चीजें बहुत बड़ी इशू, और they're going to take a significant time to sort of मतलब साल 2 साल और लग जाएं शायद ज्यादा, मतलब we can't say हुकूमत मतलब काम तो कर रही है इस पे, but no, of course there's a lot of factors in this that are going to take some time.
Yeah.
That's fine. वो बात you have to keep in mind, like मैं आपको मिसाल अगर इसका देता हूँ, तो 2012 में ना 2012 to 13 I was living in China. I was in China for a year. बीजिंग में था और नैनजिंग में था, पढ़ रहा था यूनिवर्सिटी में। तो जब मैं उधर होता था, तो ये at that time everything, there was a lot of e-commerce players, everything was cash on delivery, right? So this is मतलब 8-9 साल पुरानी मैं आपको बात बता रहा हूँ, 10 साल हो गए शायद, हाँ 10 साल हो गए, 10 साल पहले everything that I saw was cash on delivery. In fact वहाँ पे अगर आपका डेबिट कार्ड होता भी तो वो आपको कहते थे कि जाके एटीएम से पहले कैश निकालो और मुझे कैश दो, ठीक है? Alipay, WeChat payments, the way China has, अगर demand है ना मार्केट में on product is, एक दफा वो fintech platform आ जाएगा तो it'll explode. It should explode. I'm not saying it'll explode to the level of China. What I'm saying is if China 10 years ago was cash on delivery and today is one of the key fintech players worldwide. That just shows you that these sort of gaps are bridged very quickly. They happen very very quick. हमें realize ही नहीं होगा 10 साल में कि एक जमाना था कि हर चीज कितने cash crunches थे on the B2C side या on the B2B side. एक जमाना था कि हम Amazon की क्या-क्या चीजें कर रहे थे और Amazon is a platform. Alibaba is a platform. Etsy, अब मिसाल के तौर पे Etsy is a drop shipping platform for smaller ticket size, right? So instead of 1,000 goods, you have less goods, etc. The idea is कि आप वो mediums explore करेंगे and वो mediums भी change होते हैं. I am not saying कि यही mediums है 5 वाली जिंदगी भर रहेंगे, but वो the concept of trade is older than time, right? So मतलब as in we have been trading since we've been human beings. तो ये कहीं नहीं जाएगा. वो ऑनलाइन हो रहा है अब, वो एक डिफरेंट तरीके से हो रहा है. कभी अलीबाबा कर छाया हुआ है तो कभी अमेज़न. दीज आर थिंग्स जो आप सीखते रहेंगे, बट conceptually it won't change. It will be the same. And drop shipping is a part of that. Payment gateways are a part of that, but the rest is it's a macro picture.
चलो दैट्स ग्रेट. इंशाल्लाह ताला सबके लिए बेहतर होगा. चले मूविंग ऑन टू प्रो पाकिस्तानी. Right, I already told you before we started the conversation, I'm a big fan of it. I actually follow it very keenly, almost on a daily basis. Even when uh, I don't drive anymore, right? Usually in the car, either LinkedIn or this thing is or mostly on to keep myself also updated. Uh, uh, First of all, Pro Pakistani के पीछे thought process क्या था? What got you guys to start Pro Pakistani, right? And it's been itself following and involved in the startup ecosystem with regards to coverage to whatever is going on within the ecosystem. तो Pro Pakistani के पीछे thought process क्या है? And how does the news outlet itself sees what's the opinion does it have on the startup ecosystem of Pakistan?
Okay. Firstly, thank you for the kind words about Pro Pakistani. दूसरी बात ये है कि I didn't start Pro Pakistani. Amir bhai, Amir Atta, the founder and executive of Pro Pakistani, started it many years ago. Our sort of journey together is about 3, 4 to 5 years old approximately. When Amir bhai started it, तो उस ज़माने में, it was first I think it was like a chat room of sorts, and then it sort of became a blog. The vision and this is something, Amir bhai की दो चीजें जो बहुत मेरे लिए हमेशा when I'm working with him stick out करती हैं is एक तो there's a sort of finger on the pulse, understanding what readers want to read, what they want to see. ये बहुत ज़रूरी होती है for a play like this. दूसरी जो चीज़ होती है ना, and this is something that's even more hard to do in the publishing space, is the ability to do मतलब पैसे बचाना, पैसे हर रुपए को account for करना, and then the ability to monetize. ये भी बहुत मुश्किल है. ये तीन चीज़ों की जब आप एक अच्छी combination बना लेते हैं, and that's what Amir bhai was able to do. I mean, Amir bhai has been doing this a lot longer than I've been involved with him. And वहाँ पे this is when he dropped out of college, started doing it. One man army there for the longest time. आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उन्हें recruit किया. Even when we sort of partnered with Pro Pakistani and acquired shares in it, at that time there was 20, 30 employees maybe or something. Now we're at over 100 employees, so there's been a ridiculous amount of growth. But it's the ability to grow intelligently जो बहुत ज़रूरी होता है ना. Timing. आमिर भाई ने अपनी foundation set की थी for many years, and that grind is also hard. It's the perseverance of very उस टाइम पे तो पैसा बहुत कम था और the growth was very little, and then there's a यहाँ तक Pro Pakistani in the startup space की बात है, देखिए Pro Pakistani I think itself is a startup, right? So its journey is very similar. Its growth trajectory is very similar. We are also consider ourselves to be a media startup, similar to that of the ecosystem. And there are several things that a founder could learn from the journey of ProPakistani.
Yeah.
This is at a time when funding was non-existent.
Mhm.
Funding का तो कुछ नामो निशान नहीं था. This is at a time when it was a lot less fashionable to be a startup founder. So there's a lot to learn from that. जहाँ तक where we see the market going, देखिए यस पैसा आता रहेगा और लोग लोग ये बात कर रहे हैं कि कितनी फंडिंग और आती रहेगी आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट अब वो सॉर्ट ऑफ इंटरनेशनल मार्केट्स की आंख सॉर्ट ऑफ बैठ गई है पाकिस्तान पे सो दैट विल कंटिन्यू टू हैपन my interest is less in how many more new companies get funded although inshallah the more the merrier my interest is more in जिनने raise कर लिया है अब significant raise the likes of other companies I am really hopeful, or I hope at least, inshallah, if they do really well. उससे ये होगा ना कि when you are a unicorn is not that company that raised a few rounds. A unicorn is a company that went through the entire process, right? And एक दो companies लोग venture capitalists जो होते हैं वो बहुत उनकी risk appetite बहुत high होती है. They're aware कि 8 out of 10 things they're investing in, at least a good VC is, कि 8 out of 10 चीजों में से वो नहीं चलेगी. And that's okay, they accept that. But we do need those one or two unicorns. We need those one or two success stories that make international waves. And of course, alhamdulillah, with a lot of these good companies coming up and raising funding and great entrepreneurs with lots of experience. Hopefully, there will be some that will come out of this. But until they do, मतलब मेरा concern हमेशा ये रहेगा कि even if there's another 2 years where funding dries up, अगर इनमें से एक sort of succeeds, तो उसके बाद it becomes a international hub for funding. So that's what we really need.
Shanid, obviously you might, of course, know it because you guys are also following the ecosystem. But if this information counts, there will be an announcement of a unicorn very soon, right? Something that every one of us are using on a daily basis. तो मैं नाम नहीं लूँगा, लेकिन within a couple of weeks जो है इंशाल्लाह ताला कुछ ना कुछ announcement उसकी आने वाली है. अब off recording मैं शायद नाम दे दूँगा आपसे.
ठीक है, लेकिन when you say news आने वाली है, may I ask, is it news of the like of funding, or is it the news of the like of something else like an IPO or something like that?
No, with regards to funding, obviously because when you talk about a unicorn, right, the funding plays a big aspect of it because when a funding round is raised, that's when the valuations are revised and everything. तो उस हवाले से जो है both are interconnected. तो funding और unicorn announcement जो है hopefully if the valuation reaches that level, funding की तो शायद आ ही जाए, लेकिन अगर valuation भी to the unicorn level, because for a startup to be classified as a unicorn, you need to go beyond the valuation of $1 billion, right? तो वो शायद जो है a couple of weeks, a month or so. जी 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 बोले.
मैं कह रहा था हाँ, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
तो मैं कह रहा था कि आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है in terms of the sort of funding that are about to come in with different players and that sort of valuation. मेरा point सिर्फ ये था कि इंशाल्लाह वो valuations तो at certain big numbers achieve होंगे. The ideal is when you see an entire sort of circle end. End में ये होगा कि you go past Series B, C, Series D even, and somehow like for example, list on the US stock exchange or somewhere where the ecosystem is complete. That inshallah, and there are a lot of companies on the way to that inshallah. बस यही है कि that's the next big step.
मतलब ये चीज़ें तो होना तो शुरू हो गई हैं. By the end of 2022 we'll see quite a bit of Series B rounds, right? It's already started with Bazaar announcing 70 million a couple of days back. with regards to capital raising through capital markets, that's also started. जो जेम बोर्ड वगैरह जो शुरू हुआ है स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में, some companies have also raised capital through that. So by the end of this year, we'll see quite a bit of influx of Series B and some into Series C as well. तो काफ़ी maturity ecosystem में आ रही है. अच्छा, moving on, Shayan, let's talk about your core specialty, something that you've been associated with for quite a long time, marketing and advertising, right? आप लोग वो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि जो मार्केटर होता है वो हाइप क्रिएट करने का एक्सपर्ट होता है, और उस हाइप को क्रिएट कर जो बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपर्ट होता है वो उस हाइप को क्रिएट करने के लिए भी एक हाइप क्रिएट करता है, राइट? तो what's Icon 7 all about? I know it's a full service digital agency, right? It's into video aspect as well, right? थोड़ा हो सकता है मैं भी आपसे जो है ये टूटी फूटी सी जो वीडियोस सेशंस मैं कर रहा हूँ, शायद मुझे भी कुछ सीखने को मिले, कुछ इम्प्रूव करने को मिले. So what's Icon 7 all about then?
So we're a creative agency.
Okay.
Obviously, we do several design, production हम खुद करते हैं, photography, video, thing. And then we're trying to add layers. So layers of when I say layers, I mean obviously we do digital, we do those things, but जो हम sort of अपने आप को differentiate करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं is in different patterns. So for example, मैं आपको अगर इसका मिसाल दूँ, अभी recently पहले हमने अपनी डिजिटल के लिए जितनी टॉप ऑफ द लाइन रिसोर्सेज रख सकते थे रखें. देन वी वर ऑलवेज टेस्टिंग. सो बिकॉज प्रो पाकिस्तानी एंड आइकॉन 7 एंड ऑल ऑफ अस आर सॉर्ट ऑफ एफिलिएटेड, so we're testing the length of videos, we're testing the look and feel of obviously branding and hype and all of those things. And then what we realized is कि एक point के बाद हम ये नहीं था कि हम नहीं कर पा रहे थे, हम कर रहे थे लेकिन not to the level that I wanted us to do. So then we went in, we hired some psychologists, we brought them into the team.
अच्छा.
And now we work with Ali Ilyas, who heads our research department. We are trying to do something new here. और उसकी वजह मैं अगर आपको बताऊं ना, people when you talk about hype is when you touch on to somebody's emotions. ठीक है, तो उसमें होता ये है ना कि पहले हम ऐसे करते थे कि लोगों को डिवाइड करते थे डेमोग्राफिक्स. डेमोग्राफिक्स इस तरह होती हैं कि अर्बन क्लास, XYZ सैलरी, XYZ एज, ठीक है. That's different now, and the reason that's different is कि इंटरनेट ने सब कुछ खराब कर दिया है. और खराब इस तरह कर दिया है कि मैं जब पाकिस्तान वापस आया था तो मुझे खुद ये रियलाइज हुआ ओवर द ईयर्स कि देखें एक एम्प्लॉई होगा not from a say elite class background or even a higher middle class background, जो रोज बाहर खाना खाएगा, उसकी सैलरी 40,000 होगी तो 35,000 रुपीज खाने में लगा देगा, 5,000 रुपए घर देगा और कोई सेविंग नहीं करेगा. ठीक है, उसकी इंटरेस्ट भी ऐसी होंगी कि वो फ्रेंच क्रोसान खाना चाहेगा, वो कोई फैंसी सा स्टेक खाना चाहेगा, वो सिर्फ कोरियन फिल्म देखेगा, जर्मन सिनेमा देखेगा. ये बंदा आप अज्यूम करेंगे कि भला बड़ा पता नहीं पेरिस में या बाहर कहीं या elite background से belong करता है या something that justifies this mentality, this personality. There isn't. The truth is that the internet has opened up every sort of opinion to anybody and everybody, and that's fantastic. अब people get to choose the film they want to watch. They don't watch Netflix में जो movie लग रही है 3 बजे. They watch the movie they want to watch, the thing that they associate with. तो एक चीज है जिसको हम मतलब इंटरनेशनली कहते हैं साइकोग्राफ्स, लेकिन वो चीज पे हम काम करते हैं अब कि we try to build a profile of your customers not based on where they live, not based on how much money they make, not based on their sort of urban demographics. You base it on other things. For example, it is important to know even down to what kind of films you like, right? Why does it matter? क्योंकि अगर मैं आपको फॉर एग्जांपल रोमांटिक कॉमेडीज बहुत बुरी लगती हैं और मैं आपको काफी दिखाते हुए एक रोमांटिक सा सीन दिखाई जा रहा हूँ, व्हाट एम आई डूइंग? आई एम एलिएनेटिंग माय ओन कस्टमर. आपकी कस्टमर बेस बहुत स्पेसिफिक होती है, एंड जो लोग कहते हैं ना कि हाइप इज व्हेन यू कैन एक्टिवेट अ स्ट्रॉन्ग सोशल बेस।
हम्म,
जब तक आप उनको एक छोटी बेस अपनी नहीं बनाते ना, एवरीबडी हैज टू हैव अ बेस। ये जो बंदा कहते हैं ना कि
हम्म,
सबको दे दूंगा, ये
हम्म,
होता ही नहीं।
हम्म,
There's no such thing as सबको। There is a base that you target and you accept. And even this is, for example, true in political campaigns. This is true in business campaigns. मतलब I am aware कि even जिस तरह आपका startup talks है,
yeah,
ये सबको ट्रैक नहीं कर सकता।
हम्म,
इट कैन नॉट, ये अवाम के लिए है नहीं, ये
हम्म,
उस अवाम के लिए। और ये भी कहना है ना कि स्टार्टअप टॉक्स उसके लिए है जो वीसी स्पेस में है, या से स्टार्टअप स्पेस में है, या फॉर एग्जांपल एक्सपैट पाकिस्तानी है, दैट्स नॉट इवन फेयर। You
हम्म,
don't know that there is a kid in Gujarat that has studied more about the
हम्म,
ecosystem than I have,
yeah,
that knows more about it than I do,
हम्म,
because he's the access information now is at a click of a button. You don't need to go to Stanford to learn these things. और लोग अब एक यूनिक बनते जा रहे हैं।
हम्म,
एवरी पर्सन इज बेस्ड ऑन देयर प्रेफरेंसेस, एंड दिस इज वेयर द लाइक्स ऑफ कैम्ब्रिज एनालिटिका, फेसबुक, profiling of Google, etc. is doing, and why they're doing it at this level,
yeah,
because उनको भी इस चीज का अंदाजा है ना कि वो जो कहते हैं ना कि क्रिएटिंग हाइप, हाइप इज नॉट अ, इट्स नॉट लाइक अ बुलेट यू फायर।
yeah,
हाइप इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट दे वांट टू हियर, व्हाट दे वांट टू एसोसिएट टू, एंड देन सॉर्ट ऑफ प्लेइंग ऑन दैट। आप अगर वो कर लेंगे तो उसके बाद तो यू विल बिल्ड योर बेस, एंड वंस यू बिल्ड योर बेस दे आर योर
yeah.
पर्सनल बेस।
It's all about access to information. A marketer's job, because I also advise people on marketing. A marketer's job is basically to help those people who want access to information. If you are good at getting that information to them, right? How you achieve that, what's the timeline behind it, what's the roadmap behind it, अगर आप वो कर लेते हैं तो that makes you uh, a good marketer. Perfect तो कोई नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन it makes you a really good marketer. You were saying you wanted to add something?
हाँ, मैं ये कह रहा था कि सर, agreed completely, and then this is also where
Hmm.
जो sort of the next level ना is, to be a good marketer you have all the information, tools available like market society, etc., to show you where the user is going, what they're doing, etc.
Yeah,
But then you need to understand psychology. You need
yeah,
to understand human emotions. What is the reason for this, and the reason, because होता क्या है कि ना डेटा, मेरे एक्सपीरियंस में हमें ना बहुत ज्यादा डेटा मिल जाता है,
hmm,
और उस डेटा पे क्लेंजिंग करना, उसकी
hmm,
माइनिंग करना,
hmm,
उसके अलावा अगर और उसकी माइनिंग पहली होती है ऐसे कि इट्स एक्शनेबल डेटा।
hmm,
फिर ऐसे होते हैं कि यू ब्रिंग ऑन स्पेशलिस्ट हु अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर डोमेन,
yeah,
देन यू इन आवर केस फॉर एग्जांपल ब्रिंग ऑन साइकोलॉजिस्ट हु अंडरस्टैंड ह्यूमन बिहेवियर,
yeah.
एंड समवेयर along this line is the answer that we're looking for.
अच्छा, uh, let's connect this space and because you are already running a creative agency there, right? And not only obviously not only catering to clients in Pakistan but abroad as well, right? So uh, in context of the startup ecosystem in पाकिस्तान में एक तो बहुत बड़ा मसला है, आप लोगों को भी फेस करना पड़ा होगा शायद, availability of the right talent in the tech space, in the design space. बहुत डिफ़िकल्टी है क्योंकि स्टार्टअप्स बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहे हैं, लोग इधर उधर से लोगों को पिक कर लेते हैं, दूसरी कंपनी से लोगों को पिक कर लेते हैं, एक तो ये इशू है बहुत बड़ा। लेकिन एक और मार्केटिंग के हवाले से, क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट एंड प्रोडक्ट डिज़ाइन, right, and to get that product, create an MVP and to get a product onto the customer, right, कि किस तरीके से पहुंचानी है उसको, उसका impact customer के ऊपर कैसे build up करना है, right. Startup space में because mostly these startups are started by young people, right. बहुत सारों के पास कॉर्पोरेट एक्सपीरियंस शायद ना हो, बहुत सारे फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं, बहुत सारे नए नए वेंचर शुरू करते हैं, विच इज़ गुड। मतलब फेलियर से ही सीखता है आदमी। मैंने भी बहुत धक्के खाए हैं, बहुत बहुत सारे लोगों ने जो है वो धक्के खा करके, चोटें खा के, गिर के ही सीखता है। अब जो एडवर्टाइजिंग स्पेस है ट्रेडिशनली, कुछ अर्सा मैं भी एसोसिएटेड रहा हूँ, जैसे मैनहट्टन पाकिस्तान थी, या मैनहट्टन इंटरनेशनल थी, या स्पेक्ट्रम थी, या और दूसरी तीसरे बहुत बड़े बड़े नाम हैं, आज भी एग्जिस्ट करती हैं वो, एंड दे डन सम अमेजिंग जॉब। तो अ, ये सेक्टर इट्सल्फ कितना शिफ्ट हुआ है? ट्रेडिशनल प्लेयर्स जो थे, आर दे अडॉप्टिंग द न्यू डिजिटल aura of doing business in this space? और जो स्टार्टअप्स जो हैं, उनको मैं दो सवाल एक साथ पूछ रहा हूँ, बिकॉज वी शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम है। जो स्टार्टअप स्पेस जो है वो, हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज़ इट? व्हाट मैसेज वुड यू हैव फॉर देम कि जी ये उनकी प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट के हवाले से मार्केटिंग का रोल कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है?
ठीक है. The first question being कि are agencies adapting?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Same with the publication space in ProPakistani. होता क्या है कि when that digital revolution comes, a lot of the big players still survive. ये नहीं होता कि they disappear. होता ये है कि some of them tail off,
Hmm.
and वो creates room for some other players to join that elite sphere of advertising companies. This is normal. The same thing will happen in media. The same thing will happen in a lot of industries once it goes digital, because some companies are unable to adapt, some companies struggle to adapt, and some companies just don't want to adapt.
Hmm.
तो ये है. जहाँ तक दूसरी बात है, when you're a startup,
Hmm.
70, 50 to 70% of the time, if you're a B2C startup, so advertising is the most important thing, right? Kareem doesn't make cars, Airbnb doesn't make hotels or apartments. They're primarily growth based, right? They're based on user acquisition,
Hmm.
and getting users to sort of work with their marketplace. Same with hundreds of thousands of things. User acquisition or the growth trajectory is
Hmm.
very, very linked to marketing.
Hmm.
But even if you're not in the B2C space and you're not in the B2B space, and you're looking to raise funding, for example, आपकी branding, आपकी pitch deck, आपकी profiling, these things are so important. If you're unable to sort of utilize the tools of marketing to profile your customers, if you're unable to, brand in a way that's, it becomes harder. It's not impossible. Anyone can raise funding, especially if what they're doing is good work, but it eases your way a lot. Startup founders are part marketeers, part engineers, and part sales, right? So, पार्ट्स एक इंसान में अगर बहुत अच्छी, मतलब ऑब्वियसली एनोमलीज होती हैं, लेकिन जो प्राइमरीली मेरे ओपिनियन में, इफ यू हैव दोस थ्री थिंग्स, ऑपरेशंस बीइंग द फोर्थ, अगर आप ये तीन चार चीजों में किसी तरीके से एक्सेल कर पाए, या इवन थ्री आउट ऑफ द फोर,
Hmm.
and then you sort of outsource the bits you can't do, so you have that lethal combination you need to survive and you need to thrive.
Chale, that's great to know. Chale, in the end, we've gone quite a bit over time here. I'm really enjoying the conversation, but
It was a
we
pleasure.
have to end it soon. So, last question, Shayan. Uh, you guys have turned into a group of companies, right? There's प्रो पाकिस्तानी भी है, आईकॉन 7 भी है, ट्रेडमोर भी है। पाकिस्तान में बहुत सारी ज़बरदस्त चीज़ें भी हो रही हैं। वो अनफॉर्चुनेट है कि आजकल थोड़ी पॉलिटिकल अनसर्टनिटी चल रही है, लेकिन एज अ ग्रुप ऑफ companies, as a group of businesses, what's next for you guys? Where do you guys see yourself, say, in uh, 2025, and then what's the roadmap to 2030?
Well, so each individual business
Mhm.
has individual goals.
Mhm.
Trademor has its own, roadmap where we want to see ourselves.
Mhm.
ProPakistani is the same, Icon 7 is the same. And then जहाँ तक मेरी personally बात है, या let's call it the group, um, look, there's a million things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the opinion that this is the day and age where you, if you're lucky enough to have great partners like I am and great teams like I do, so it opens up time to try things, right? Certain market factors not slow them down in terms of revenue, but वो growth spurts come in, timing की बात होती है, वो momentum एक
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem build होता है ना, वो एक economic momentum build होता है.
Yeah.
So as our momentum is building, we have time. I'm currently involved with my partner in Trademor in a business that we're also starting to scale up now called Mode. It's an EV play, basically electric bikes, that sort of thing. I'm involved in a couple of other things, a VC fund, very small, but yeah. Um, and I'm going to try and do as many things as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea, inshallah, is there's enough space in these markets to grow together. And what we're trying to always do as a group is kind of bring in as much talent as we can. And we understand that again. I don't pretend to uh, expect all of this to work out, but I do believe कि उस chaos और उस startup sort of grind में there's a lot of learning and
Yeah.
there's a lot of growth on a personal level, on a team level, and we will keep trying.
Yeah.
And inshallah, each one of them will have their own individual stories. लेकिन मैं लोगों को इस तरह कहता हूँ, not that I'm a PTI fan or anything, लेकिन मैंने एक दफा एक इमरान खान की कोट सुनी थी कि उसने कहा था कि मेरे वोटर्स अभी बड़े नहीं हुए, this many years ago, मेरे वोटर्स अभी बड़े नहीं हुए, तो जब वो बड़े होंगे ना तो मैं इलेक्शन जीत जाऊंगा, क्योंकि वो सब बच्चे थे तो वो बड़े उस दिन की मैं लोगों को कहता हूँ इंशाल्लाह एक दिन ना जब ये सब बड़ी होंगी ना तो मेरे लिए भी अच्छा ही होगा इस तरह.
Chale, chale, best of luck with that, Shayan. It was lovely hosting you. All the best with what you guys are trying to build, and all the best in scaling all of the aspects जहाँ जहाँ आपने टांग अड़ाई हुई है. Good luck with that. And on that note, from where we started the conversation, hopefully in 9 years' time, you should, inshallah tala, make it to the under 40 list, right? So best of luck. Let's keep in touch. इंशाल्लाह इस्लामाबाद आना होता रहता है तो कभी मिलेंगे इंशाल्लाह ताला in person. चलें, thank you very much. अल्लाह
Thank
हाफिज़.
you, sir.